My ex cheated on me for most of our relationship. I found out during my pregnancy with our daughter, and he had the other girl pregnant too. My daughter was a June baby and theirs was an October baby. They also got married that following February. To say things between us have been tense is an understatement. Ex's wife didn't know immediately that he was with me or that we'd been together since we were 15. She hated me for overshadowing her pregnancy with mine. She hated me even worse when she needed an emergency C-section and had so many complications that a hysterectomy had to be performed. The tension between us then was at its worst. Ex's wife wanted me to give up my daughter so they could raise both girls together as real sisters, and when I refused, we had all the drama. I don't even think she would have been able to love my daughter had I done that, but she wanted more than one badly enough that she thought my daughter would do since she was already born. Ex and I now communicate mostly through an app. We share custody of our daughter, Teen, and exchanges happen at school pickup times to minimize the contact between us. This has worked for many years, though I know it's not ideal for my daughter overall. My daughter and her half-sister have a very high conflict relationship. It's over me and my ex's wife. Ex's daughter has picked up her mom's attitude towards me and dislikes me and believes I keep her sister from her real family. My daughter doesn't like ex's wife, which annoys her half-sister. This has been communicated to me several times by my daughter and ex, who will send random text about it. I never respond because our mandated communication is done through the app. Ex and his wife had some financial problems over the last 6 months. For my daughter's birthday, she got a card and a gift card, and my ex told her in advance that he wouldn't be able to get her much. I was able to get her a present as usual though. I splurged a little this year and got my daughter a gaming laptop. She was so happy. Ex became aware of this when my daughter spent some time with her grandparents and asked them if she could bring the laptop to their house. Ex asked her about it, and she told him I bought it as her birthday gift. My ex's daughter's birthday is a couple of weeks away and he wants me to buy her a gift, something I've never done before. He said the money situation is still tight and he doesn't want to get her anything. I told him I wouldn't buy her a gift and he blew up the app on my phone saying I should do this so his daughter wouldn't be left with a lackluster birthday. Ex said I'd never done anything to help the dynamic with the girls and never cared about the pain he and his wife were in, and this was one thing I could do. I could afford to get her something nice and it wouldn't strain me. Maybe it would help her get along better with my daughter too, and I said no because I don't want to, which could be a very cold and unfair thing when she's a kid. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your ex is delusional if he seriously thinks his daughter is somehow your responsibility. I would advise your daughter to keep her gaming laptop at your home because I can already see the drama coming, when her father will force her to keep it at their place so his daughter can play with it whenever she wants, or worse, try to gift it to his daughter. Better safe than sorry. Really? Does this man and his wife not have any family that can help them out? Why on earth would they expect his ex-girlfriend to take care of their child's birthday? Utter craziness. You could block his number on your phone. The app is more than enough. I have to ask, are you really into balls? I only ask because that guy has got some massive ones to ask you to do that. What the heck? Next time he says you never cared about the pain he and his wife were in, tell him you care if only he cared about the pain he and his wife put you through when he cheated on you with her. Enormous balls. Gigantic. Huge. I'm surprised he didn't get you both pregnant with quadruplets. These people have no boundaries. Ex's wife wanted me to give up my daughter for them to raise both girls together as real sisters. Ex squeeze me. That woman did what? It's a miracle you're still talking to them, honestly. This is outrageous. OP, you're a kinder person than I am. I'd have told her to bother one of the other women her husband is cheating on her with if she wants another kid to raise. These people thought they were entitled to your daughter, and now they believe they're entitled to your money. I just got back from my friend's wedding in Mexico. It was at a fancy all-inclusive. Everyone mostly did their own thing with only a few group events planned, other than the wedding and reception, obviously. One of the group activities was dinner out at one of the restaurants that required a reservation. It was beautiful and the service was fantastic. One hiccup. The best man did not want potatoes. He wasn't allergic, potatoes didn't take out his parents in a dark alley, and he wasn't sworn to avenge them, as far as I know anyway. I speak Spanish, and after he asked me, I asked the waiter not to serve him potatoes. Well, you know where this is going. He was maliciously served potatoes, and he would not shut up about it. He pointed out to everyone at our table that he'd been served a starchy tuber against his will. Other tables watched him and listened to him getting upset about the potatoes. He ate the rest of his meal but would not drop the potatoes. I couldn't take it anymore. I reached over, grabbed the potatoes with my hand and put them on my plate, and then I ate them. He just sat there stunned. Then he got up and went to his suite. He avoided me the rest of the time there, but he told everyone what an idiot I was and how unladylike my behavior was. I just wanted him to shut up about the potatoes. My friend wants me to apologize for causing drama. Not the idiot. Potatoes. Cook 'em, mash 'em, take 'em off his plate. It's not even a sauce that could contaminate the rest of his food. You're the hero we didn't know we needed. But yes, you took away what he wanted, to play the victim and whine like a child. Once that opportunity was gone, he had no reason to stay, so he left, and there was much rejoicing. Exactly. He wanted the unwanted potatoes in order to secure everyone's attention and sympathy upon himself, when otherwise everyone's focus might have been directed towards the bride and groom. It was never about the potatoes, and by removing the potatoes, you exposed his motive. He made sure to tell everyone what an idiot I was and how unladylike my behavior was. And how would he describe his behavior? Gentlemanly? I applaud you for your pragmatism. No potatoes, no problem. With any luck, he'll be mugged by a potato on the way home. This man seems to be truly dedicated to being offended. Apologizing is not going to make things better. For the past week, my wife and I had been anticipating a baseball game for which we'd purchased tickets. We like baseball but don't attend many games, so traveling into the city to see games is a rare treat. I know, though, that it would take time to drive there and find parking due to traffic. Because the game started at 7 p.m. and we live about 45 minutes from the stadium, I told her this morning that she needed to be ready to get in the car and go by 6 p.m. My wife is an avid gamer, so she was engrossed in her latest video game when the clock struck 5:45 p.m. She's struggled to plan in the past, and I get tired of reminding her that she needs to budget time to get ready. It's like she has no concept of time, similar to a young child. I was ready to go by 6 p.m. and she was in the bathroom. I saw this as an opportunity to teach her personal responsibility, so I left the house without saying a word, got in the car and started driving to the game. It took my wife a few minutes to figure out what I'd done, but when she called me, she was furious. She said it was unacceptable for me to leave without telling her and that she couldn't get to the game without paying for parking. I told her I got tired of constantly waiting for her and that she would plan better next time as she didn't want to get left behind. I also reminded her that I told her that morning when I expected her to be ready to go. Absolutely none of this seemed to matter though, and she rudely hung up on me after yelling out more insults. Frankly, I think it's completely wild that a grown woman cannot budget her time, and I'm starting to suspect that she's doing this on purpose because she's a narcissist who expects me to accommodate her. After all, she's not a dumb woman, she has a science degree. Well, she never showed up to the stadium, and I didn't hear from her the whole game, but when I got home, there was a note on the door. She told me I wasn't welcome in the bedroom and should sleep on the couch. I can't believe she wants to be this much of a pill. I would have missed the first pitch if I'd waited for her. I made my expectations clear, and she couldn't be bothered to meet them. I feel like she should be apologizing to me. Am I the idiot? I wouldn't have blamed you for leaving, but you should have told her, "Honey, put on your shoes, I'm leaving." How hard is that? Who cares if she's dumb or has a science degree? It has nothing to do with punctuality, and it can happen to anyone to not see time go by. You are the idiot because you know your wife. You knew she wouldn't be ready, and you left on purpose to punish her. You waited until she was in the bathroom and couldn't see you to leave to teach her a lesson. Enjoy your couch. Oh no, you're late and miss 15 minutes of a 2.5-hour game. How can you possibly get caught up now? The fact that this was a baseball game and not live theatre, where they might not let you in once the performance starts, or even just a movie where you're missing plot-relevant scenes, is huge. He sounds like he's just waiting for an excuse to teach a science degree-holding adult a lesson. My partner is consistently late and is the furthest from narcissistic. It's literally an ADHD symptom. Wow. My favourite part is when you're shocked that your wife is mad at you and wants you on the couch. The lack of self-awareness is embarrassing. Not the idiot. It's true you could have warned her yet again for the 5,000th time that a deadline was quickly approaching, and she would have said, "Just 5 more minutes," and would have taken 20 and then would have argued about being rushed. She is an adult with a science degree, and if she could manage her time enough to turn assignments in on time and get a degree, she's certainly capable of setting a timer on her phone for the amount of time she can play games. She simply wasn't interested enough in the game, spending time with you, or being ready to leave on time, or she would have put the effort, focus and attention to do so. Honestly, I'm shocked there are quite a few calling you an idiot. To me, that is no different than expecting the wife to keep track of all the kids' activities and the husband has no responsibility for his kids. In this case, she's an adult and cannot expect you to do the mental labor so that she will be on time. If it mattered to her, she would be on time. If she games with other people, I'm sure she's on time for that. My family has always had this tradition where the first child born after the loss of someone in the family gets the late family member's name as their middle name. My sister and I both have those middle names. Hers is Patricia, after a cousin of our mom's, and mine is Denise, after my dad's aunt. Almost a year ago, my sister lost her 2-day-old son, Philip. He was the last family member we lost, which was a huge, earth-shattering blow for our family. I found out I was pregnant a few months ago. I waited a while to tell anyone. My sister was the first person we told privately. When I told her, she said it would be nice to have some positive news to focus on, and she wanted me to continue the tradition our family keeps and give my baby, if a boy, the middle name Philip. She was so happy about the idea. It surprised me a lot. I figured she would not be okay with it, but she wanted it. The problem is, my husband and I do not want to continue with the tradition. We do not want to give our son the middle name Philip. The name is different from one either of us likes or would ever pick ourselves. We haven't announced the gender of our baby yet, but my husband and I know we're expecting a boy. My family was saying how amazing it would be if my baby was a boy and could carry on Philip's name. I suggested they wait until we announced the gender and the name before jumping to conclusions. They asked why, and I said we were thinking of not continuing with the tradition. My family, and by that I mean my parents mostly, were really upset. My sister was the worst though. She asked why I wouldn't want to honor Philip and why it was him the tradition was getting broken. She asked if I saw him as meaning so little, and I said no, of course not. Then she asked if it was his name and we didn't like it. She said she hoped it wasn't that. I said we didn't feel like the tradition was something we wanted to continue. The decision has brought up a lot of bad feelings, and my sister is outraged and thinks I'm being insensitive and showing how little I care for my nephew. I feel terrible. She's so angry at me, and my parents are also unhappy. My husband hates them for putting this pressure on us. He said we should be allowed to name our son what we want and not be obliged to use a particular name. I never wanted to be an idiot, but my family believes I am. Am I the idiot? No idiots here. You and your husband can name your child whatever you want. However, your family also has the right to be hurt. Not only is this a tradition, but it's a tradition that honors people the family has lost. Keep in mind how rarely a middle name is used. Is this something you're willing to create a fight over? As you say, your husband hates your family for putting so much pressure on the name. I'm afraid I have to disagree. Not the idiot. It may be a tradition for your family, but it's not for your partner. This baby is yours and your partner's, so it's up to you both how you go about naming your child. I understand your family's feelings, but these expectations that someone else who had nothing to do with deciding these traditions will just go with it also seem too one-sided. This ties into the 2 yeses, 1 no rule that many couples use, except in this case, it's 2 no's against the family yes, and honestly, the family doesn't get a vote. It's a recently deceased child too. I could understand, oh, my grandma had a brother, or my spouse had an older sibling or something, but to name a new baby after a deceased one seems like bad luck. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. This is ridiculous. I'll keep it short. My son wants to get a thank you when he does as he's supposed to. It's like if he puts the dishes away and comes up and tells me, I say okay, and he tells me I should show some gratitude for doing it. He keeps doing it, he makes his bed, takes his laundry downstairs, all of it. Turning in his homework, doing his chores that I pay him for. We had a huge argument about it and he thinks I'm an idiot. My husband also got into an argument about it and he thinks showing appreciation is good and it would be nice for a thank you when he takes out the trash. I blew up and listed everything I do where I get 0 thanks, and I don't expect it since it needs to get done. They aren't talking to me. I came here to see if I was crazy. Am I the idiot for refusing to say thank you when my kids do what they're supposed to? This makes sense. I like it when my boss thanks me for doing my job. I thank people for serving my food, even though it's what they're supposed to do. It's just being polite. I listed everything I do where I get 0 thanks, and I don't expect it since it needs to get done. It sounds like you, just like your son, want to be thanked for doing what you're supposed to do. How did you end up on the opposite side of this issue, opposing your desires out of bitterness? You are the idiot, OP. I suffer, so others must as well. Total crab bucket mentality. Total mother martyr mentality. It costs you nothing to show appreciation to your kids. You should teach them how to interact with those around them. Thanking people is part of that. What about getting thanks on Mother's or Father's Day? After all, you're supposed to care for them, so there's no reason for them to thank you, right? This is a crazy and rude hill to die on. It's alarming to me that you're digging in about not thanking your child for doing his chores promptly and adequately because he's supposed to. What do you think it's acceptable to thank people for? I'm sorry, OP, I think you're being unreasonable. Everyone should be saying please and thank you and welcome. In fact, thank you, OP, for sharing your story.